Welcome back to the City of Palms podcast, and this is the last episode of 2019.
But it ain't stopping.
Dun, dun,
We ain't
dun.
How are you doing, Danny? It feels like I've been forever since I talked to you. How you doing?
Share mic here. I'm doing great, dude. It has been a while. We haven't sat down on the solo one in a while. And we just keep on rolling. So that's typically how we catch up, and we haven't done that. So we actually did that last week. Didn't we do that last
Legitimately,
week?
last week we
Wow.
did that.
Well, it's been a minute.
No, but for real, like with my with my physical therapy and all that, like I feel like I haven't been talking to people as much and whatnot. But I'm getting my car back
you and
tonight.
Ghost.
You're giving me my car back tonight.
Doctors know?
No, I asked my physical therapist, and I was like, I'm not able to bear weight on it, but you got me here doing calf raises and freaking ankle stretches, and all shifting a car raise is an ankle stretch. So could I drive my Genesis?
Your doctor called me and said that I need a doctor's note from your physical therapy.
Let's hope your doctor doesn't listen to your podcast.
Yeah, next time. Oh my god. Yeah, because I've been walking on my leg. I'm sorry, doctor. He told me not to. But it doesn't hurt. It doesn't hurt at all to walk. And plus, at physical therapy, they got me doing calf raises and stuff. And I'm like, I can't walk, but I can do calf raises? What is this? But I don't know. Anyways, today we got Chris Topher.
Yep.
Is that is that the name on your birth certificate? Chris Topher?
Yes, it is, actually.
It is?
That's so cool.
Yeah, because my first name's Christopher.
Oh!
You know how many times people ask me, is Topher your last name? I'm like, think about it. Chris Topher.
Will you reveal your real last name? Or do we just...
That will be a mystery for another day.
Okay, we have Chris Topher here. How are you doing?
I'm doing excellent.
How was your day?
My day is fucking great. Am I allowed to?
Yeah, you can. Yeah, you say what
Oh,
you want.
fuck them. Yeah. My day is fucking good. Yeah.
Yeah,
Pretty much just playing piano all day.
that's good, bro. You didn't have any gigs or anything like that? Anything work related other than practicing piano?
No, not today.
You're basically a full-time musician, right? But you do things like Uber Eats or things
Yeah,
like
I do
that?
Uber Eats and other like delivery services, for extracurricular activities.
Yeah. How is that? Because that's something I've thought about, and like it seems cool to pick your own schedule and whatever. But I just get nervous because I don't know how it works, and then I don't know how like the taxes aspect works of that.
They give you a W-9. It's just like being an entrepreneur or freelancer. They give you a W-9, you fill it out, and you're responsible for your taxes at the end of the year. I mean, you don't have to pay them if you don't want to, but then, repercussions.
Okay, so it's because like usually with an employer, they take out such and such taxes
Right.
legally and whatever, but so then by the end of the year, you're all accounted for. But then at the end of the year, do you have to calculate it, or does the W-9 do it all for you?
All right, so do you know much about taxes?
Nope.
Well,
And it's about to get real dry.
I used to be an insurance agent, yeah, and I dealt with taxes a lot. So, in the regular employment force, you have your W-2s and your W-4s. W-2 is better than W-4. If your employer ever gives you a W-4, make sure you know the difference between the two, because most people do not, and you can get fucked. But anyway, but a W-9 is different. It's like they're basically saying we are not responsible for your taxes at all. Sign this paper.
Okay.
But a W-2 is more like we'll meet you halfway with your taxes. Sign this paper. W-4s we'll take care of all of that shit, and you get a return at the end of the year. So with the W-2, which looks like, with the
W-9.
yeah, no, 4. Yes, with the 4, it looks like you're covered, but then you could wind up owing money because they're not withdrawing enough.
That's what's happened to me every single year I've worked with Aldi, and I've tried fixing it. Like, because the first time when what?
Call them out.
Yeah, I mean, it's just facts, But when I moved to Pennsylvania, and I was like on my own and like filling out, like I filled out taxes for the whatever for my first job I ever got. But then with Aldi, I filled it out, and I just followed the instructions because it said like put a zero here for this allowances.
Yeah.
And, like, I just followed the instructions, and then it ended up said put the total. I put like 4 allowances, and then by the end of the year I owed a bunch of money, and then I was like, what the hell? My mom's like, no, you're just supposed to put 0, and they're like, you put allowances, you have like kids and stuff, and I was like, and so they're like, they weren't withdrawing enough or withholding enough or whatever. They weren't taking enough out, and I was like, well, what the hell? So then I did it again. And did it and thought I fixed it, and then I owed less but still owed, and I was like, what the hell? And she's like, it's just because you're young, you're gonna owe money. And then last year I moved back to Florida, filled out another one, and then I still owed because I think it was because I thought it was because when I moved to Florida I needed to fill out another one to like I don't know, to like, because this is a different oldie or whatever, but they just based it on my old one, and I don't know. It got fucked up, and I owed money again. And I'm just like, okay, what's a tax return? I don't know.
Well, don't quote me exactly on that, because, I didn't really break it down how it's legally supposed to be broken down. And I didn't fucking file taxes for people. I sold insurance.
And it's
taxes,
very complicated. Taxes are so goddamn
taxes were like a small fraction of selling insurance. Well, a big but small fraction. Because you need to know about it, but like as far as like W-2s and W-4s and W-9s, 1099s, and blah, 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 and all that good shit, we didn't really deal with them. We really dealt with like IRAs, and we did more like retirement shit. We let old people deal with their taxes, as opposed to younger people, my generation, your generation, what we deal with our taxes. So
okay, well that doesn't seem so bad. Have you like driven Uber at all, or do you mainly do the delivery things?
Just Uber Eats. I don't have people in the car.
Do you know you can't do it with a coupe, can you? You can't do Uber if you have to.
Yeah, I got a coupe.
Can?
Not Uber.
You can't do Uber.
Yeah,
that's what I'm saying. Yeah, because I've thought about doing like things like that, or even the grocery store ones, Shipped and Instacart and stuff like that. I thought that might be neat.
Both are not prominent in this area. Instacart is not yet big enough where they're in certain areas like North Fort Myers. They're not in Cape yet. They're not like it's very scattered, and they have schedules and certain amount of people per schedule. So you put what you're available for, and then they'll put you on the schedule. With Shipped, it's like Uber. It pops up, you grab it. I found another one today, which I signed up for. Trying to, expand my hustle. Anybody listening, if you know how I can expand my hustle legally, let me know.
And there's this thing going around. I don't know too much about it really, but I know it's going around. I'll throw it out there. I've been approached by it multiple times, but basically, no. I don't know how this works. I don't know how this works, but the bag's getting secured. Basically, I think. Okay, I'm just gonna say. Basically, you get a check and you cash a $1,500 check 3 days in a row, a different check, all for $1,500, and then you wire half of that money back to the person who gave you the check. Yes. So you're basically cleaning. I think you're cleaning the money. I don't know, but I think it's like a millennials like form of money laundering. I really don't know. That's what I don't know. But I do know people are getting the bag, and I'm like, what?
That's like on the border of like illegal.
That just screams scam.
That sketches me out. And it's just like.
No, but I've been approached by like people we've had on.
And it's like, you ever play RuneScape? You ever played that game?
Heard about it.
Like, it always reminds me of in RuneScape doubling money, because it was like an online game, and you could like, there was like the virtual currency, and people would trick others because you could trade in the game, and they'd be like, yo, I don't know why, but I guess because they're all like young kids, like they don't know better, but they're like, if you give me this amount of money, I'll double it for you. And they're like, okay, like, and so they'll give them like $1,000, and they'll give them $2,000 back, and be like, oh, they actually do double your money, so they'll give them $10,000, and then they just log out, and like, and they just people just go around the game being doubling money, and like people would fall for it and get like super gypped, and this is like the real life version of
But
that.
I don't think that's what's happening here.
No?
What's happening? This is what I don't think that's it, because
they don't have to send you money back. Why would they send you money back?
No, it's not. The first part isn't digital. You're meeting up with someone and they're writing you checks. They're actual checks that you have to go to the bank. And it's because I think the person on the other end of it is some sort of kingpin. Yeah, so I'm thinking that's what I...
Dude, that sounds like some straight up trap.
Yeah.
Trap money, bro.
Yeah.
Like straight
because
up.
why would they You know, why would they
Yo,
need
listen,
you to do that?
I got all my hoes and they gave me all my money and I'm the pimp and I need to clean this shit.
Yeah.
So can you cash this for me,
Yeah.
please? If you say no, I got some powder. I'm gonna slap you with it.
So when did you have that like corporate job lifestyle? At, like what age range was that?
All right. So my corporate world lifestyle was 14 up into now. Earlier than that. Shit. 2014 is when I became an insurance agent. 2011. God. 2011 is when my venture into the business world like started.
Where did it start?
Because
Because 8 years ago you were just fresh out of high school.
I graduated high school.
Or no, because you would have been 20. You would have been 20 something.
Yeah, I graduated high school in 2007.
Okay.
I graduated at 19. I was late birth, so I was supposed to graduate at 18. But then I failed a grade and graduated at 19 instead. And then after that, I started one of my first jobs after high school was working at Radio Shack.
Huh.
And this was back when Radio Shack was a thing.
Yeah.
It was a thing. It was competing with, Circuit City. That was his competitor at the time. And Circuit City doesn't even exist anymore. God, I'm dating myself.
do Radio Shacks?
They still do, yeah. Yeah.
Because where's the nearest Radio Shack? There used to be one down the road there, but they closed it.
I don't know where the nearest.
I don't know.
Now it's all Best Buy and shit.
Yeah.
Oh, Amazon.
It's like how Walmart destroyed small business grocery-wise. Best Buy destroyed small business electronic-wise.
Bro. I don't like Walmart. Fuck Walmart. For real. Like,
I agree.
Like when it comes to like abusing a system or something, when it comes like a business or whatever, and or stealing or something like that, I don't have the like conscience to do that. You know, like I just feel bad. But when it comes to Walmart, fuck them. You know, it's bad. You know, like you shouldn't steal and you should be like an honest person. But like Walmart is just such a giant fucking corporation that like every time I go Walmart, they're watching and they're just because every time I go to Walmart, I say self checkout's dope because every other item's free. Because if you're sneaky about it, they'll never catch you. Because when you're on the way out, they do scan your receipts, but they're only unless they scan every single item in your cart and compare it to the scanned receipt, they're gonna catch you. But they almost never do that. And as long as you're like not as long as you're inconspicuous, then they're only gonna scan. Because I bring my own bag, so they only scan like things I left out of the bag, like a watermelon or like a case of water. They'll scan that, compare it to the receipt, and be like, okay, it matches. But if I have like a bag full of stuff and I have like 3 cheeses and I only scanned one of them, they're not gonna be like, they're just gonna see pepper jack cheese on the receipt and be like, that's good.
The Walton family is listening. Alright, listen, they own that phone right now. And because of the PRISM Act, everything we say is recorded.
Sorry, Walmart. Lock me up. But anyways, you were saying you worked at Radio Shack.
Yeah, that was my very first sales job. And I climbed up the ranks pretty quickly. And it was very convenient because my job was at my very first sales job was at the corporate store. Like the district, what do they call them? It's been so long. The district manager. Yes, the district manager. His office was right next to our building. So then he would come in and watch us all the time and give us sales training and yada yada. And I have a likable personality. When I was younger, I was a lot more likable because I was all in everybody's fucking face. So every time I saw him, I was like, "Hey, what's up, man?" And everyone's like, "Yo, that's the fucking district man." And I'm like, "I know." And yeah, we just like came pretty chum, and he was like, "I like this guy," and he just kept rising me up. And long story short, I wound up moving, so I had to leave the job, and I went to school for EMS at that point. Got my EMT, worked as an EMT for a little bit, worked as a CNA while I was doing that.
Dang.
And
Wait,
then
was the Radio Shack job in Connecticut?
it was here in Florida.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I graduated high school here in Lehigh.
Oh, really?
I was born in Florida. I was born in Fort Myers at Lee Memorial, 1987. You were born in Lee Memorial?
Not 87, but yeah, I was born in Lee Memorial.
Oh, good shit. Yeah, so I was born at Lee Memorial. Then we moved to Georgia, and then from Georgia to Connecticut, from Connecticut back to Georgia, back to Florida, then to Georgia, Connecticut.
And this was all before high school?
This is all before high school.
Dang.
I went to Alva, Lehigh, Lockheed, Reed.
You went to a school called Greed?
Reed.
Oh, I was like, oh man.
And there's one I'm missing, the one from Georgia. I went to 5 elementary schools. I went to 4 middle schools, Babb, Forest Park, Bunch Middle, and then Lockheed, no, Reed Middle, sorry.
Damn.
And then I went to, started high school, Forest Park High School in Georgia, and then went to Jonesboro High School in Georgia, and then went to Bunnell High School in Connecticut, and then came back down to Florida and went to Lehigh Senior High School.
Man.
Yeah, so 4 middle schools, 4 high schools, 5 elementaries.
Do you feel like, because I think about that sometimes, do you feel like going to so many different schools and like being, because like with us, we went to just like the same school all through elementary, and then right down the road was the middle school, and then right down the road was our high school. So like you knew everyone, and like everyone knew each other throughout all your schooling.
Yeah.
But I feel like if you're someone who gets picked up out of it and dropped into a new social setting and picked up and dropped and whatever, it's like, does that make you more of a social? I guess it depends on the person, but does that make you more sociable?
I will say
and adaptable.
It does depend on the person, because I went through this experience with my siblings, and I was the most outgoing, and some of my siblings were a little more recluse. You know what I mean, when it comes to like going out to people, because of the fact that we were constantly moving, constantly.
It might make you afraid to get close to people, because then you're just gonna get taken away.
Yeah. I had a crazy childhood. It's pretty interesting. Yeah, pretty interesting. But yeah, so flash forward. I started in the medical field after getting a taste of sales, and it wasn't that I didn't like the medical field, because I did love it. I enjoyed, not necessarily being a CNA, because wiping ass, cleaning shit, and changing adult diapers is not fun. I don't care what anybody says. Oh, I love my job. I love to help people. Yeah, you may love to help. I love to help people. Okay? But I do not love to change adult diapers. Like, that was not fun. But anywho, so I did that for a little bit. Went to EMS, like I said. Did that for about 2.5 years. And then I wound up moving back to Connecticut. And when I was in Connecticut, I started working at a gas station. And this is how I got back into sales. I was working at a gas station. I moved up to Connecticut because I was down here. My older sister up in Connecticut, she called me and was like, yo, I haven't seen you in some time, blah, blah, blah. Like, come visit. And so I went to go visit, and I didn't have shit going on over here. So I was like, hey, I'm going to stay. And she was like, well, you need a fucking job. So I got a job at a gas station in about like 2 weeks, and worked there for about 6 months. And there was this guy, he was a regular of mine. He worked at Massage Envy. His name was Zach Gross. Still remember that dude. Good man. Anywho, he worked at Massage Envy, and he was like, yo, you have a personality for sales, bro. What the fuck are you doing at a gas station? And I was like, it's funny you say that. I used to work sales when I was young at Radio Shack and yada yada. And he was like, I can get you an interview. I got the interview, got hired on the spot, and I was there for about 3 years, almost 4. And I worked my way up from sales associate to sales trainer to customer relations specialist, where I like dealt with their clients and retention and yada yada yada. And I hated my job. Like, I was in the office every day. Like, it's crazy how when you're young and you're like, I want an office job. I don't want to work on my feet. I don't want to bend over any of that shit. I want to, like, go sit down in my cush comfortable chair and type all day. But then when you finally get there, you're like, shoot me now. So, like, the money was good. The job was good. My coworkers were great. My boss was a bitch. Dina, I hate you. Anyway, I don't hate you, but she is one of the people that have made me who I am today. But I was very passive in those days. And Dina, one day, I'll never forget this. I'm just going to say she was a bitch to me my whole entire career there. But the day I quit, she came up to me and she called me in the office because we had a disagreement. And she was, and I can't remember what the disagreement was, but at one point in the meeting, she said to me, I remember when I first found you. I found you at a gas station, and look where you are now. And like she was demanding that I respect her and agree with whatever the fuck she was saying instead of just agreeing to disagree. And then that's when I was like, fuck you. Like,
Straight up.
Fuck this job. And I left, and it was a good but bad decision. I got a better job, more paying money, better
benefits?
No, that's benefits. What's the word? Better, I guess, more prestigious, more, better title. You know what I mean? And I got fired because the person who was training me, I did not realize I was replacing. And she was a manipulative little snake. You know what I mean? She trained me to fail, and then when I failed, was like, I don't know. I told him this, and he did that. When really she told me to do, it was kind of,
fuck?
and it was a family-owned business, and they took her word over mine, and I was like, that's not what happened, because she's been working with them for years, and the reason why they were firing her is because of a bunch of manipulative shit that she's been doing. So I'm like, the fuck is going on? Anyway, I lost that job, and when I lost that job, I just started looking for more corporate business, corporate sales positions that matched where I was at in my resume. And that's when I got an offer from Bankers Life. It's an insurance company. You ever heard of Colonial Penn? You know Alex Trebek?
Mm-hmm.
You know, the guy who has that big old check and he goes to old people's houses and he's like, you won the sweepstakes. No? God, you're young. But yeah, Colonial Penn is owned by Bankers Life, the insurance company I used to work for. They're a pretty big name, but they like to put all their sister companies and baby companies, push them out and, hide in the backgrounds so people don't know they're monopolizing the insurance world. But, yeah, they're a pretty big company. And I worked there for about 2.5 years. And the first year was pretty good. Made some good money. Second year, I was seeing, the residuals from my policies that I sold, and then it just went shit from there. I sold policy, wasn't too well, yada yada yada. Long story short, wound up owing money to my company. Damn. And that's when I was like, fuck y'all, and I went off and did my own thing. Yeah.
So what age was going off and doing your own thing?
What was that?
What age was going off and doing your own thing?
That was...
Or were you back in Florida at this point?
I was in Connecticut.
Still in Connecticut.
And funny story, I quit my job and I hopped on a bus to go to Washington, and I was going to go be a beekeeper.
Really? In Washington State?
Washington State.
What?
Walla Walla, Washington. I had a friend of mine who was a beekeeper up there. And I went up there, stayed there for 2 months, but prior, like the whole journey there, I hopped on a bus and would just go to different states and hang out for a day, go to a bar, meet some people, and then hop on the next bus and go to the next state. So I stopped at several states on my way to Walla Walla and had a fucking blast. It's the best. It was like a 2-month journey on the bus. No, it's a lie. Felt like it. It was more like a 3-week journey on the bus. Felt like 2 months.
That's still an adventure, dude. 3 weeks of bus travel from state to state to state. That sounds
fucking
awesome.
Great.
That
it
sounds
was fucking
awesome.
great.
That sounds cool.
And you said you only stayed in Washington for how long?
For about 2 months, yeah.
Were you a beekeeper? Or were you working your way up?
I was trying to become a beekeeper, but never really made it to the beekeeping.
they're over
Pretty
there.
much, I just found out that they had legal marijuana, and I just got high as fuck. Yeah, I got high as fuck. Hung out with a bunch of college kids. I was right next to a college campus, and it was crazy because it was a Seventh-day Adventist college, the same religion I grew up in, and all these heathenish children are like, "Fuck this church," but we need the education. So yeah, it was fucking great. But then when I came down here, things didn't work out, and because we were supposed to go from Washington to come here, and then go from here to California, from California to Maine, and back down here, because the bees were here while my friend was up there, and he was like setting contracts and shit. He was gonna come down, pick up his bees, go back to Cali, and then go around and back down. You know what I mean? And it's beekeeping is great. It's like you work for a certain amount of months, and you make pretty good profits, and you have a shit ton of time left over in your hands. But the time that you have left in your hands, you gotta maintain your bees, your hives, and keep them alive. Maintain your queens, yada yada yada. I don't know too much about the business. I know a little bit, but yeah, it didn't happen, and so I wound up being unemployed for a good 6 months. Ran out of money when we came down here, and I was on my sister's couch, and she was like, "Yeah, you need a job, bro." And I was like, "All right, cool. Let me get a job." So I went to Massage Envy again, and became a sales trainer.
You see Dina?
No, this was Dina's from Connecticut. This
And
is
maybe
now.
she moved. Who knows? I'm just getting stories.
Nah, then I met Judy.
Oh, God. There's always one.
Worse than Dina. But yeah, God, I'm saying names. Shit.
They ain't
Oh,
watching.
these are fake.
Our friends don't even
These
watch.
are fake.
Joking, just a joke. It's just a joke.
So yeah, I met Judy, and she was just a straight up miserable person, and she wanted to make everybody miserable. And then here I come, being part of the management team. It's like, hey, let's make everybody happy. And so our tactics didn't really work well when it came to managing.
Mm-hmm.
So we didn't really get along very well, and I got fired because my heart wasn't in it at all. So I wasn't really doing my job. I was pretty much just socializing and getting paid for it. And so yeah, I got fired, and I didn't give two shits. But I had to do something. So I got drunk at a karaoke spot, and that's where I bumped into my band. Yeah, I got drunk one night, and Sean was there, and he sang. I sang a song, and then the DJ at the karaoke spot, he was in our band when we first started. He sang a song, and the three of us were like, "Yo, y'all are fucking good." And I'm like, "You're good." And he's like, "No, you're good." And I'm like, "No, you're good." And next thing you know, the DJ is like, well, "I got a guitar," and he pulls out the guitar, and Sean's like, "Can I play it?" And we don't know each other. You know what I mean? And Sean's like, "Can I play it?" And he's like, "Yeah." So Sean starts ripping. I start freestyling. He's like, "I got a cajon." He pulls out a cajon, starts making a beat. And the three of us are just jamming. And we, next thing you know, we look up, and there's a whole crowd of people around us like, "What the fuck?" And
this is in a karaoke bar?
Yeah.
Wow.
At Mona Lisa's.
What?
Yeah. And that started that night. On that night, we were like, "Yeah, we should so make a band." But that night started a long-running tradition. It was about a year, that tradition, where every night, I'm not talking about like 2-3 nights a week. I'm talking every night. We had a crowd of people outside of Mona Lisa's till like 6 a.m. after karaoke, jamming with the three of us.
What?
And
Wow.
yeah, it was fucking crazy, dude. Like, I have a picture on my phone. A friend of ours named Raquel. She's another musician in town. She used to run the open mic at Indigo Room on Wednesdays, and she's a regular, customer of Mona's, and she's also one of the karaoke DJs at Mona Lisa's. But she had a birthday party once at Mona's, and all these, local musicians and the people who were in the local open mic scene came out, and we were all just jamming, and we wound up like people pulled out amps, like there was a keyboard, fucking electric guitars, bass, like microphones, and we just jamming for fun. Put on a fucking concert for hours. I have a picture. Brad Talbot took a picture. He has a camera. He went behind the makeshift band that formed and took a picture. And do you know Mona Lisa's at all?
I know of it. I haven't been there though.
All right, so you know that their hall, right? You know, like where the plaza is, they have the pillars and it's a big ass hall. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
That hall from where Mona Lisa's was all the way down to the end was packed. It looked like a fucking concert, bro. Packed with people. Jeez. I gotta find that picture and show it to you, bro.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Man, so that was the start of the Wildlings. But back then, when you first started, was it called the Wild Boys?
The Regulars.
The Regulars.
We were the Regulars, and then the Wild Boys, and now the Wildlings.
And who was it that coined the Wildlings phrase? Wasn't there someone that kept misnaming you?
No, it was Bob Tabarini. Bob Tabarini. We were the Wild Boys, and we were looking for a new name. Bob Tabarini was like, the Wild Boys is shit. It sucks.
Oh.
Like, throw that shit away. Why don't you just call yourselves the Wildlings? And like, literally, I just made the face like, what? Why did I never think? And yeah, that's how we got our name. Thank you, Bob. Cheers.
Hell yeah. All right. We're going to take a short break. We'll get more into the music side. It's weird. I don't even think we introduced him as a musician, but that's what we're getting into. That's what he does now.
Yes, I am Chris Topher, lead singer of the Wildlings, and yeah, I'm a musician. Holy shit, I'm a musician.
For real. All right, we're going to take a quick break. Enjoy the ads. We'll be right back at you. The City of Palms podcast is brought to you by Anchor. Have you ever thought about starting your own podcast? When I was trying to get this podcast off the ground, I had a lot of questions, like how do I record an episode? How do I get my show onto all the apps people use? How do I make money from the podcast? And the answer to all this is really simple, Anchor. Anchor is a one-stop shop for recording, hosting, and distributing your podcast. And best of all, it's 100% free and ridiculously easy to use. And now Anchor can match you with great sponsors who want to advertise on your podcast. That means you can get paid right away. In fact, that's what I'm doing right now by reading this ad. Me and Danny searched all over the internet for different outlets for distributing and recording and for websites that would host our podcast, and a lot of them you have to pay money or it's really complicated, and especially for someone just starting out. And Anchor really was an answer to all that because you can record straight on Anchor. It's very user friendly and it's totally free. We don't have to pay a penny to use this, and so it's great for anyone who's wanting to start out. And so if you're wanting to start your own podcast and make money doing it, go to anchor.fm/start. That's anchor.fm/start to join me in the diverse community of podcasters already using Anchor. That's anchor.fm/start. I can't wait to hear your podcast.
Yeah, I'm DC over Marvel, probably.
Yeah.
Fuck yeah,
Yeah.
bro.
I'm so bummed on the cinematic universe. You know, like Marvel does such a good job.
Started. Marvel does a good job because they have money.
Yeah.
DC does an okay job, but then fucking Warner Brothers gets involved every fucking time and says, no, we want this, we want that. And it's like, Warner Brothers, shut the fuck up and let the directors just do what they do. The Batman vs. Superman was not supposed to be what we saw. Like, the Batman vs. Superman was directly drawn from a comic. What was it called? It was a comic when Batman was retiring, and he found this girl, and she was the girl Robin. It was the very last Robin, the girl Robin. And Batman was an old man. This is like after Batman Beyond old. You know what I mean? He's old. Or right before Batman Beyond, maybe. But like, he has this fight with Superman, and literally the scene with Batman and Superman and Batman versus Superman, the movie, was ripped page by page from the comic, and that was a storyline they were supposed to go with. However, Warner Brothers was like, no, we want Wonder Woman in it because she's coming out with her movie, and we're coming out with the Justice League movie, and we want to make sure that everything's tied together like Marvel does it. And they're like Marvel does it at their end credits. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
They wanted it in the movie, and so they had to change the whole thing and put Wonder Woman in it. And that's what fucked up the whole everything.
And then I was disappointed with Suicide Squad 2.
Oh, we recording? Right?
We're recording.
Oh shit.
I'll like officially jump back in. But Suicide Squad 2 was something that like I was underwhelmed. You know, like that could. And I heard that one was also because of like the production side. Like it wasn't, and it didn't turn out how it was intended to turn out or whatever.
Yeah, it sucks. It's all about money. It's all about profit.
And I was talking with my roommate Gabe about Justice League or just like DC in general, and he was talking about Batman vs Superman, how much it sucked, and I told him, because he said one thing that's so weird is how like Superman had his whole Superman movies, and then in Batman vs Superman, that was the first time you ever saw Ben Affleck as Batman, so everyone's like, that's Ben Affleck as Batman, but he's in this like supposed to be that crossover movie, so it's kind of weird for him to not have a real background or like whatever. And then I was like, imagine if Christian Bale was like still in like, you know, and like if they made a Robin movie, and if they like made, you know, like, cause we grew up with, like we followed Christian Bale through that trilogy.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
bro. And dude, there's so much. And the reason why everybody says Christian Bale's Batman is solely because he's the one that got the most movies. He got a trilogy. You know what I mean? Yeah. No one else has gotten that. Mm-hmm. I mean, you know, I take that back. What's his name from? Batman Forever. Oh, that was horrible. It was a horrible movie. But Batman Forever with what's his name as Victor Freeze, Arnold Schwarzenegger.
And that was the one with Jim Carrey as the Riddler.
And he was a Batman in a previous movie too. Can't remember because that was a sequel, Batman Forever. I don't know, whatever.
Yeah, I don't remember that.
But that's how bad it was. But the thing is, like, there's so much that they can do with the DC stories, bro. Like, if you follow the comics, or if you've watched it as a child, or like just know what they do, or if you even watch their animated movies.
Yeah.
Their animated movies are fucking badass, bro. And like, I don't understand why they can't do that with people. The same way Marvel has their live action actors. Why can't DC do it? You know why? Because Marvel has Disney money, and DC does not have Disney money.
True.
Fuck Disney.
Did you watch Gotham? Did you watch that show?
I did not.
Because I would like to see how you'd like that. Because that was something I always skipped it because I thought it would be like kind of like a diluted version of like the heroes and villains and stuff like that, but I actually really, really liked it. I just finished it like a couple months ago, and it was pretty cool. They did like a different take on like each character is cool, like the same, and like how you know and love them, but there's like something that they kind of changed around to make it like a little more interesting. It was pretty cool.
I saw like some episodes at the end with Joker, and that kid, bro, the kid from
Shameless.
From Shameless, he fucking killed the Joker, bro. Killed the Joker, yo.
Dude, and it's so weird. I never heard about him being Joker. Like, when I started Gotham, I didn't even know Joker was in it. And my friend was like, yeah, that's, wait till you get to the Joker. Like, I want to know what you, like, think about him. And I'm like, Joker's in this movie? And then when I got to it, I've never seen a picture or video or anything of this dude playing the Joker. But he killed it. I loved him as the Joker.
He killed it.
And they put a twist on it that was really interesting.
Yeah, I mean, it was weird because the age wasn't right and all that stuff, and people were complaining about that. But it's just the story. If
there was a lot of things that were not right that kind of like got me scratching my head. But like, if you think about it, this is a whole separate thing that they're doing. It's not supposed to be like true to everything.
Like if you just look at it as like an artist's depiction of what they want to show as Batman.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Or like I saw it as like a fun sort of twist on like the stories that we know and stuff like that. Because it's kind of like with, like you can only tell the same story so many times. You know what I mean? You gotta make it new in some way. So we got caught in a conversation, but I'm gonna backtrack a little bit to what we were talking about in the first half, just because I'm curious. Was the whole time you were moving around and like eventually when you like went in Lehigh and stuff like that, were you doing music through that whole time? Were you always like a singer and pianist?
No, not at all. Yes and no.
You didn't do it in like church at all or anything?
Yes,
like that?
That's what I mean by yes.
Okay.
Because my whole life, you know, I've been singing since I can't even remember. Like since I was a kid, you know what I mean? And you know, I remember when I first started in choirs, I was in at a church called Eden in Fort Myers, Florida, and it was a Haitian church, Creole speaking church, and I wanted to be part of the youth choir, but I was young enough to be in the children's choir, but I wanted to be in the youth choir where all the teenagers were, you know what I mean? And I remember I just walked in and was like, yeah, I wanna sing with you guys, and I just started singing with them. And so when we moved to Georgia, same situation. There was a children's choir and a youth choir, and I wanted to be at the youth choir. And this was a lot bigger church than the one I grew up in when I was in Florida. And you had to audition to be in the choir. You couldn't just be in it, you know what I mean? So I went up to the youth choir director. I'm trying to remember her name, but it's escaping me right now. But anyway, I went to the youth choir director, and I was like, yeah, I want to be in the youth choir. I was this little kid. And she was like, you're not old enough. You can be in the children's. I was like, no, I want to be in the youth choir. And I was like, do you have anything I can sing? And they were working on a song. And it just so happened, because I've been nagging her for forever, that I wanted to be in the youth choir. And they finally had a song that had a child solo. So they're looking for the right kid, because it was like the child solo and then there was an adult solo. And it's as if the same person, the way the lyrics were written, like from their child point of view and then their adult point of view. And it's called Inside Out. And I was like, yeah, I want to do that. She was like, you gotta sing it. And I was like, okay. So I listened to it, and she showed it to me like 2 or 3 times in like 15 minutes. And I went up there, I was like, all right, I'm gonna do it. And I just sang it. And she was like, yeah, you could be in the choir. And yeah, that's how I started in my youth choir in Georgia. And I've just been in the choir ever since, like every church I went to. All the way up into my adult life where I was still singing in church, you know?
Wow. And then piano too? Were you playing piano then too?
I actually just started playing the piano, bro.
Really?
February of last year. Well, February of this year.
Really?
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
Wow.
It's
You're
been less than a
talented,
year.
Man, I feel like we got to get into the weird stuff now.
Oh God.
I feel like we're on that stage.
God.
Okay, so let me think how to organize this. Okay, so you said you grew up in a haunted house?
Yes.
In what state was
in
that?
Connecticut.
Connecticut. Okay.
Of course, you ever heard of haunting in Connecticut? That shit's real, bro. Connecticut, dude, they have like historical areas from the fucking witch hunt eras, you know what I mean? And like there's some graves there that are old. I should put my phone on silent, my bad.
It's all good, you're good.
But yeah, there's some fucking grave sites there that are from like 1800. I'm talking about like way back in the day. In Connecticut, it is known for like its hauntings, you know what I mean? But I lived in a house that was haunted. Yes, it's fucking crazy.
Jeez.
Yeah.
That sounds intense.
Okay, so then what's your take on like the spiritual world and stuff like that, and ghosts and stuff like that?
Alright, so at the time
And you can put evidence. You can leave
Yeah.
excerpts as evidence.
At the time when I was going through it, I didn't know the fuck. You know, I was very religious at the time, and I was like, you know, demons and heaven and hell, and you know, we're sinners. This is why this is happening. You know.
Yeah.
But I honestly now, you know, I look at it because one thing that changed my mind about like the world and energies and the spiritual realm is massage. I went to school for massage therapy, and I worked at Massage Envy for 3 years prior to switching over from sales to massage side. And like all the massage therapists would always talk about energy and saging and spirituality and positive, negative, yada yada yada. And I was like, okay, you know, it's just that hippie massage shit. But then I started, you know, diving myself into that realm of spirituality. And when I went to school, it's actually part of your education in massage school. Like they teach you about energy work. They teach you about the healing parts of it, and more than just just as is just as important as the medical side. So a lot of massage therapists, they have two choices. They have a choice to make when they're ready, either to focus on the medical side, or focus on the energy side, or mix it together. You know what I mean? Because there are some that don't believe in the energy side but still massage very well, and there are some that, of course you believe in the medical side because you're a massage therapist. You know what I mean? But but that's when I first got introduced to it, like on a scientific level.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And it was fucking mind blowing, and it's simple shit but mind blowing, and it's all about like energy and shit, positive versus negative, healing versus hurting, and it really opened my mind on how the world works and shit. Yeah.
Man. So what's the craziest thing you can think of that happened to you and your family in the haunted house? And then would you have an explanation for it, and knowing what you know now as you are right now?
All right. Oh man.
Whatever you're comfortable sharing, you can share.
All right, cool. I will say this: there was an incident where it's dead winter. You know what I mean? And this is Connecticut, so dead winter means there's snow outside. It's cold. You're not opening your windows, bro. And we had this one window in the dining room that was covered in flies. No one knew where the fuck the flies, how they get in the house, where they come. All the windows are closed. The only times anything's open is the door and one coming in and out. You know what I mean? Front and back. But this one particular dining room window would have flies just crawling, not flying around it, crawling all on it, and dead flies all on the floor. Sweep the dead flies away, try to shoot the flies away. They go. Next day, there they are again. And this is bizarre shit, dude. Like, and the thing is, it's not like in the movies where it's like they make it seem like it's. I mean, I don't know. Maybe there are people who go through that type of extreme hauntings. Ours was extreme enough for me. But like unexplainable flies always showing up, like that was
always on that same window.
Same window.
What?
And like there were certain I'll say this: there were certain things that happened in the house. I'm not gonna talk too much about a lot of it because it is personal shit. With my family, but there were certain things that happened in the house that we would not speak about. And when we did get some ghost hunters to come, which was a very hard decision on my family's part, because, grew up religious, we're like, we wouldn't know this is real.
Yeah. So
we got some ghost hunters in the house, and maybe they just played to our crazy fantasies, who knows. But literally, they walked around, they told us, they just want to examine, see what's going on. They walked around the house, and by the time they were done walking through every room, they said, okay, is this happening? Is this happening? And literally explained things that were happening in our house that we never spoke about because it was just too freaky. You know what I mean? And to the accuracy that they explained them. And then it was just weird, you know what I mean? It was just a weird experience. Yeah. So yeah, I lived in the haunted house for a little bit.
Is there like a feeling, because with speaking on energies and stuff like that, is there a feeling if you're in somewhere like that compared to somewhere that's not like that? Is there a feeling you sort of get, or is it the things that happen that are the freakiest? Cause I feel like you'd kind of just know whenever like when like something just doesn't feel right in the air and like you feel it.
Yeah, dude, it's fear, bro. It's all about fear. It's fear based. Like negative entities. They suck that. They feed off of that. You know what I mean? They thrive off of that. So, and if you are in a space, then negative entities can easily come into that space. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Crazy shit, man.
So how does that affect like your day to day now? Like with that mindset of positive and negative energies and stuff like that. Like aside from like hauntings and the extreme side of all that shit, like what kind of things does it affect like in your present life?
Well, my present life, I just try to be as positive as possible. I mean, at the end of the day, I know what I've been through, and I've been through some shit, and I've been through some good, and like some of the things I get upset about, I just look at it and I'm like, dude, you've been through worse. Like, shut the fuck up. grow a pair and let's look at the good things, you know what I mean? And it just literally that one perspective of checking myself whenever I try to fall into, because we're all human, you know what I mean? And humans have we have this thing that we do where we fall into a negative mindset or negative space, or it could be self-hatred, it could be, you know, depression and multiple different types of ways, because everybody deals with depression in their own way, you know what I mean? But as long as you check yourself and it's like, yo, bro, like, where's your mind at right now? You can easily flip it, and it's a hard practice to start at first, but once you get adjusted, you know what I mean, you can literally change your way of thinking, which can completely change your life.
Yeah, just putting things into perspective sometimes.
Yeah.
And not only your life, but then other people's lives, you know? Like, I see it every day as, like, a cashier and, like, dealing with people and whatever. It's like they say it as, like, customer service is, like, you could be the difference between their good day and bad day. But, like what we're talking about, it's literally that. Like, if you're in a mind state of, like, positivity and, like, positive energy and, like, moving forward and stuff like that, then that spreads to people around you. Like, it's like, whether you say the right thing to them or they just feel it or whatever, it's like that could change their day, and then they could go off and have a good day, and then change some other people's days, and just spread all of this, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because it's so easy to get stuck in, like, one, like, you see people ruin their own days. One little bad thing will happen at the beginning of their day, and they'll be like, fuck that, and then they'll be like, you know, just all these other, like, little bad things will happen, but it'll feel like more because of what you just felt, and then you're just like, fuck this, and then, like, their whole day is ruined just from a bad morning, you know what I mean? When if you just stop at that bad morning, you're like, okay, that was that, and then just, like, move forward, you know?
Well, here's a easy little thing to look at. Like, let's say you wake up in the morning, right? First thing in the morning, you wake up and you breathe, and you're like, life is good. And then you try to get out of bed and you stub your toe. You have two options. You can focus on the fact that you stub your toe. You're like, oh, fuck, I just started my day and I already fucking stubbed my toe. The next thing you know, you're like, yeah. So you're miserable brushing your teeth. And you're taking your time because you're complaining. And then you look at the time, fuck, now I'm late for work. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like wherever you focus is how your day will go. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
If you focus on the little, because every issue that we have throughout our day, I'm not talking about throughout our lives, because a lot of times we worry and stress on the bigger picture, but like the little things is what makes us happy or upsets us during our day. So if you are navigating, I should say, through your day, where you're monitoring and focusing on the little things that are happening right now, and like, all right, I was hungry and you guys brought some brownies, you know what I mean? And I ate some brownies and I'm fucking happy because these brownies are fucking awesome as shit, you know what I mean? Or I could have been like, oh man, I got this cut in my toe, which I do have. And I'm like, oh man, I'm just worried about this cut all day because it hurts and blah, blah, blah. And I could be bitching about that, or just focus on the fact that my mouth is filled with delicious ass brownies right now. You know what I mean? Yeah. It's like those little things. And whatever you focus on is where your mindset will be.
Yeah. Or if these brownies were shit, then you could focus on the little tiny cut. You could focus on the little shit brownies. And like, if all these little shit like negative things keep happening, if you take a step backwards and just think like, I have a place to go tonight to sleep, and like if you think about like the big side of things and whatever, then it can kind of like make all these little stupid things like what is it we always say, if something won't affect you in 5 years, don't worry about it for more than 5 minutes. That's a little extreme, but I think that's kind of a good mindset where like, bad brownies will not affect you tomorrow, so why would
stop saying bad brownies, bro. Your brownies are good.
They're
man.
fire. They're fire.
Listen, man, here's a great way to look at it. I'm gonna tell you a story that I heard from my pastor back in the day, and it was there was a man who, he lost his wife because he lost his job, and he found out who she really was because he didn't have the money, and lost his house, and he just lost a lot of like physical things, you know what I mean, and it really weighed heavily on him. He thought his life was over. He's like, what am I going to do now with no money, no wife, no house, no car? What am I going to do? So he started thinking about suicide. And he decided he was going to hang himself. And one of his favorite things were bananas when he was a kid. He loved bananas. So he's like, I'm just going to buy bananas in my last meal because that's all I can afford right now. Buy some rope and I'm going to go hang myself because my life is over. So he climbed up a tree with his rope, made his little noose, put it around him. He's sitting down on the branch, eating his last meal, his bananas. And he dropped the peels on the ground. And he saw this older, frail, very thin man crawl up to the base of the tree and pick up those banana peels and start eating them because he was hungry. And that's when he realized his problems ain't shit. Because something that he would never stoop so low to do is eat peels of a banana because he's hungry. Somebody else is doing just to survive.
Yeah.
Yeah, really puts your life in perspective, huh?
Yeah, I've also seen there's the thing going around. I've seen a picture like on the internet of a person like, what is it? There's like a person on the roadside that's like looking at someone with a really fancy car and they're on a bike and they're like, man, I wish I had a car. And then it goes back and it shows like a person walking and they're on a bike and I wish I had a bike. And then it goes up to a person in a house and he's in a wheelchair and he's like, I wish I could walk.
Yeah.
And it just shows that like no matter what you're focusing on and worrying about, there's someone behind you who is probably dealing with a lot more than you are, and that's
gratitude.
Yeah, you got to think about
gratitude, man. You want happiness? Be grateful for what you got. You want misery? Be envious of what you don't. Simple as that.
Yeah.
Simple as that, bro.
Yeah, that's facts.
Like even with my injury, I think like this sucks so bad. Like to not like when any of you guys I'm talking to you about, you guys are talking about skating. You're like, oh yeah, but dude, you can't skate for like 8 months. I just think I could have hit my head and died. You know what I mean? Like even the last injury, like I was alone and I was thinking like that sucked, tearing my knee and like having to get to my car and drive myself home alone. But if I would have hit my head, no one was there. I had my tripod filming me. I was in the middle of nowhere in like the back roads.
Dude, you could have hit your head.
I could have hit my head and died.
Sustaining injury that could have changed the way that you have the mobility of your body. You know what I mean?
One thing I also think about is like, maybe this is me being crazy, but it helps my life, so I don't care if it's crazy. Like, I think about that, and I think, like, maybe if I wouldn't have tore my knee this time, I would have landed that trick and been like, hell yeah. But then maybe the next day, I would have tried something different. Or maybe the next day, I would have got hit by a car and died. Or, like, maybe I got in a car accident on the ride home from work that next day. But because I tore my knee, I didn't go to work the next day, so therefore I never died. And, like, I know that's kind of crazy to
listen, bro.
think
that's
like
not
that.
Crazy.
But
See, the person. I mean, not the average person, but that's like that right there is a form of like religion. Like someone who believes in God and follows God is gonna say that God protected you.
Reason,
yeah, everything happens for a reason, and that God's protecting you from like something else.
And see, there's sometimes like, because I've never had the mindset of like destiny or fate or like everything happening for a reason or whatever. Like sometimes I think everything's just up to chance and it's just like good things and bad things happen randomly. But there's some times that like I do wonder like the way, like even right now in my life, like I'm focused, like I'm dealing with a lot of bad things, but I'm also dealing with a whole lot of like really great things that could lead to like very, very great things. And it makes me think like each of these things are happening like because everything lined up like at certain time, like things happened at certain periods, like with my art and stuff. Like there's certain things that are happening because of little decisions I made at the right times. And
well, everything's a ripple effect, bro. It's a butterfly effect.
Yeah.
Like this conversation we're having right now is gonna have an effect on our lives in some way, shape, or form. You know what I mean? Like for example, you and I, with the friendship that we've made in the past, I don't know how long. Feels like a very lot longer than it actually has been. Like the friendship that we made wouldn't have happened if I never decided to quit my job and start music. You know what I mean? Because then I never would have met December. I never would have met you. And I would never be here. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And like it's a ripple effect, bro. Like everything happens for the reason, but the reason is because the choices that you make. You know what I mean? And that. Even like as far as fate, I don't believe in fate, you know what I mean? But I do believe that there are things involved in our universe, spiritual things that we do not see. There's a spiritual plane. I believe in that shit, you know what I mean? And I do believe in energies, and I believe that if you put out good intent just from within, you know what I mean, then good energies will kind of like guide you in life or help you in life or steer you a certain way because, you know, your intent is well. And if you have negative intent, then negative things are gonna, you know, just be a part of your life. You ever met anyone who's just so negative that it reeks from them
Yes.
without them even speaking?
Yeah, it's like
Yes.
a toxicity, like
Yeah.
literally.
I turn around and walk the other way.
Yeah, bro. Like,
Yeah.
it's like, oh, what's up? Oh.
Because you feel, just like you feel the ghosts or whatever in your haunted house, you feel that, like, negativity weighing on you. And, like, when you surround yourself with people like that, it really, like, unless you can really distance yourself from it, it really just weighs you down, too, you know?
Like, working in massage, I learned a lot about energy and how important it is. Because you have to ground yourself as a massage therapist before you touch all these people. Because, like, energy is transferred very easily. And, like, I didn't fucking believe this shit, yo. But there are times where I would massage someone. And one thing that we would do as massage therapists is you wash away their energy. From the elbow down, wash away their energy. Every massage. Not just washing away their germs, you're washing away their energy. And it's like a small little ritual you do. Like, if you don't, trust me, like, I've given massages to, like, friends or spouses or whatnot. And, well, more like spouses. I want to say friends. Because every friend, I wash away their because, yeah, it's gross. But, you know, spouses kind of leads to something else. But, like, there are times where you would do that and you would take on their pain, bro. And, like, you would, like, let's say you're massaging someone's shoulder or let's say I'm at a bar, because you see me do chair massage at a bar real quick. If someone's like, hey, I'm really in pain. And, I'll give them a quick little rub, and, like, the next day I might get their same pain that they have, same knot that they have, the same exact spot. And it's like, the fuck that come from? You know what I mean? It's like that would normally take time to build and develop, but then all of a sudden, boom, it's there. You know what I mean? I got all that lactic acid that just built out of nowhere. You know what I mean? And it's that transfer energy, man. It's very. I'm not sure if I'm explaining it very well, being that I have not practiced massage in quite some time. But I think I am. If that makes sense. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm understanding what you're saying.
I hope there's no massage therapists out there like, oh my god, you should have said this.
They're like, this is what I tell people. No, I understood what you were saying.
Yeah.
Dude, with massage, is that something that, like, the average, like, how would you recommend someone pick up, like, some little techniques to help someone with, like, massage and whatnot? Because I feel like it's way more intricate than people think it is, and I think it's pretty intricate.
More intricate. Bro, it's not like, even in school, it's not like people think that you just go there, you learn moves. Nah, man, you gotta go through anatomy, physiology, like, you have to learn the system, the body, how it works, how massage, because there are things that you can do in massage. You can fuck somebody up rubbing them the wrong way. You know what I mean? If you don't know what you're doing, you could fuck up a nerve, or, like, there's so many things involved in massage, you know what I mean? And, like, even there's some people that get home massage from their friends and spouses who are inexperienced, but it feels good, and they're actually doing more damage, more harm than good, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
'Cause they don't know what they're doing, you know what I mean? And it's crazy because I never knew that massage was so, like, I knew that, you know, working there, before working at Massage Envy, I never really knew that massage was so involved. You know what I mean? I thought it was just, you know, nice little rub, and you're good. Yeah, I didn't think that it was actual healing. But, like, I've seen, like, miracles happen working at Envy with certain therapists. Like, I've seen some people. There are some people that were clients of mine. Clients of the massage therapist, and, you know, I only worked with the office shit. But there were some clients that when I first met them couldn't open their hand past this. Jeez. And within 6 months they have full mobility in their hand just from massage. You know what I mean? There are some people that I've seen were hunched, like older people in that geriatric age, you know what I mean? whereas years of bad posture. And you ever seen that person, you know, that's just like always hunched? There are some people that I've seen go in there that were hunched, and within like a year or two, they have, you know, they're able to sit upright and without pain, you know what I mean? And myself working there, I got free massage. Oh my God. I got a free massage every month and half off on every other. And dude, me myself and the injuries that I had, like the pain that I would go through on a normal basis, and then get massaged, the amount of fucking, like where my body was prior to massaging me to where it is now and to where it was then, it's fucking amazing, dude. Like they fucking, they're miracle workers. That's all I can say. Miracle workers. There is some great things with massage. That's why when you go to a physical therapist or a chiropractor, they usually have a massage therapist on hand.
Yeah, they do.
Because it's very important, and people don't know that. People think that massage is just a luxury thing that you do for a birthday or anniversary gift or on a cruise, or if you got money. But like, if you go to and get regular massage, it will change your life.
Man.
Like, you'll get less headaches because you don't have that much stress on your shoulders or neck. You know what I mean? You'll be able to work longer hours because you're not building all that pressure in your glutes or lower back. You know what I mean? Like, it's crazy what massage can do.
Man. And it's even the physical therapist too. Like, there's certain ways that they're able to, like, I always look forward to the time when they just work on my leg a little bit, because they just like push certain ways, and like they know, like, I don't know, they talk to each other with the terms, and I don't know if they're talking about like skeletal terms or muscular terms or both or whatever, but like they'll just grab my knee in certain ways and like press a certain area, or like up in my hip they'll like press something and it'll like loosen something, and it's like, it's crazy how intricate all that stuff is, you know?
And the thing is, like, most of the time when you're going through pain, your pain is radiating from somewhere else. Like, if, let's say you're having some neck pain and or the back of your head right here is really tight and whatnot, and it's going to be headaches, tension headaches and shit. Like, you can get rid of that from massaging someone's shoulder and neck to get rid of the tension up here. Like, if you have, for example, if you have lower back pain, you can, from standing long hours, you can get rid of that from massaging someone's glutes and shit. Like, it's crazy how massage works. It's very, if you know where the pain originates, you have to follow the knots, you know what I mean? You follow the little ones, which lead you to the bigger ones, which leads you to the hidden ones. It's like, oh, that's deep in there. And like, oh man. It's, yeah, you follow the path of toxic. Yeah.
Clear it all out. Man,
That's cool.
Shout out to my girl Saki. She's a massage therapist up in Connecticut. Amazing therapist. I learned so much from her. Like, just want to give her a quick shout because, you know, I love her.
Saki in Connecticut.
Yeah.
Man. So, back on the music a little bit, I kind of want to get into like what you got going on and what your future endeavors are and stuff like that. You were mentioning to us you want to start a YouTube channel?
Yeah.
I want to know a little bit about that. Like, how you plan on progressing as as you as a musician and singer-songwriter?
All right, so I never really knew that I had these skills or capabilities until I started playing with my band, and so I'm finding myself as an individual, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And yeah, so I do want to start a YouTube channel, and I know I'll be making myself extremely vulnerable, but hey, it is what it is. But I want to start a YouTube channel to track my growth as an individual artist, you know what I mean? And, you know, incorporate many different collabs with my band, with other people out in Southwest Florida or even outside of Southwest Florida, and even just the shit by myself, you know what I mean? I just want to track my progress as an artist, because this is all new to me. I never knew I was able to play the piano. I would go to church and, you know, fuck around with my two fingers and whatnot, but I never thought that I'd be able to play the piano. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And like, it's all, I mean, though it's self-taught, like the amount, I've only been playing since February, and you could ask my band, bro, when I first started playing, it wasn't like I was at home practicing and playing. I bought a keyboard and said, yeah, I'm going to play the piano for the band. And they were like, what? I'm like, yeah, I want to play the piano. And they're like, okay, all right. And so I bought the keyboard and I brought it to every fucking gig, not knowing what the fuck I was doing. And I would sit, beep, 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 beep. And they would be like, okay, Chris, bro. Like, oh. But I was that determined, and now I play with them like I play with them. Like I'm able to play with my band and hold my own as a keyboardist. And I do have some great teachers. I'm not gonna lie. I am self-taught with my basics, but I'm growing now with some other people that are helping me with my piano skills.
Awesome. I look forward to seeing that, dude. It's been quite a year too. Like, it's been quite a year this year, bro.
Yeah, it has been. It has been a crazy year, bro.
And it's coming to a close, man. I feel like so much has happened.
Yeah.
I feel like we just started this, but at the same time, I feel like we've been doing it for like longer, just because like how many people, like the amount of people we've met, and like now when I go out somewhere, like the other night when we were at Palace, we knew like half the people and like almost all of the performers, strictly because we invited them to come hang out with us and like talk and stuff like that. And it's so cool. Like, it's weird how much better you get to like make connections with people when you're not just going and hanging out, because half the time people are on their phones anyways, or like doing some activity. But think about how rarely people nowadays just go out and just talk. You know what I mean?
Yeah, this whole entire time we've been sitting here, neither of us have looked at our phones. Yeah,
we've strictly been in conversation. And like, that's why I feel like, even though with almost everyone who's ever been on the podcast, this has been our only time spent together, when I see them in public now, I'm comfortable enough to like give them a hug, because like we talked for 2 fucking hours about, like whatever, you know what I mean?
Deep shit, bro.
Yeah. And it's cool, bro, and that's why it's so much fun. Like, and with you were saying when you were starting your goal for YouTube, you didn't mention anything about like, I can make revenue, I could get these views, get these subscribers, like this and that. Like, you don't care about any of that, and that is cool. That's like what the goal should be, you know what I mean?
That,
obviously those things matter, and like obviously we look at numbers and like listeners and stuff like that, but in the end, this is so much fucking fun. And I hope like, you know, I hope that we're able to do this for a long time, and I have so many cool things that I want to do in 2020, and I'm sure you do as well.
Yeah, man.
And I can't wait. Do you have first of all, do you have any extra questions before we like get to the wrapping it up? I had one more thing I wanted to ask, but
I don't know. You can ask yours. I might.
Because one thing, we could have talked about this earlier, but with singing and the medical profession and stuff like that, I remember you telling me one time you almost like a doctor told you wouldn't be able to sing. You lost your voice from red tide.
Yeah. Okay. Oh man, that was some crazy shit, bro. I think it was 2018. Yeah, it was 2018. Red tide really hit a really bad high down here, and I was living at the beach, and primarily all of my gigs at the time were on the beach. So I was all up in it, you know what I mean? And we were at Buddha, Sean and I, and I was singing a song. H100 was performing, and I can't remember what song it was. And I've never really been a screamer. I can scream now. I can growl and all that shit now. But back then I couldn't. And I was like, because I was a gospel singer growing up and R&B singer, and I didn't really have that much diversity. And now the amount of diversity I have in my voice is fucking ridiculous. But back then I didn't have it, and I kind of blame this incident for the shit I can do today, because it completely afterwards changed my voice. But we were at the Buddha, and they were doing a rock song, and I was like, I want to scream, and Sean was like, bro, there's a technique. If you don't know how to do it, don't do it. And I was like, I could do anything. So I did it, and I screamed at the top of my lungs singing with them, and all of a sudden I just felt this pain in my throat, and like I couldn't speak. It was really bad, and I'm assuming I had torn a vocal cord. I went to the doctors afterwards because I couldn't sing at all, and I was getting these like, it looked infected. It just didn't look right, and I couldn't speak, I couldn't sing. Like, it was bad, and it was very bad, because at that point, this was when we first started. It was our first year of being paid musicians. We had about a year of being non-paid, and well, about 6 months being non-paid, transitioning into being paid. But 2018 was the year where we started our very first venture as full-time paid musicians, and about a good portion in it, all of a sudden, lead singer can't sing. So I was like, how the fuck am I gonna make an income? So I picked up a bass and started playing the bass for almost 3 months. But I went to a doctor. I went to doctor. I went to ER, and the ER sent me to this nose and throat specialist out in Cape Coral. And when I went to go see him, he was like, "Yeah, bro, if you want to sing, like, you might have to do surgery." And I was like, "Surgery?" And like every musician I spoke to was like, "Dude, don't do this. Don't do the surgery, bro. Like, they could fuck up and you lose your voice entirely." And turned out, I didn't do the surgery. I couldn't afford it anyway.
Yeah.
But this is what he told me. I didn't do the surgery, and I just, I went to holistic healing, and did different teas, herbs, and different things to try to bring back my voice. But it was 3 months, but it came back, and it came back stronger than ever. It was fucking crazy. Like night and day, my voice changed.
Wow.
And I don't know what happened, but the red tie fucked me up. Yes, I forgot to associate that. When I tore my cord, it got infected because of the red tie, because I had an open wound inside my throat.
Dang.
So, and I got these things called tonsil stones. You ever heard of those?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, when the infection came, these things called tonsil stones popped up, and I had to pop it. Because, I can't go to the doctor and have them extract it, so I had to pop it myself. And do you want to hear the description?
Let's hear the description.
All right, so imagine, you ever seen those videos where they're popping a giant cyst on someone's arm?
Yeah.
And it's those big old chunky white shit. Imagine that on your tonsil.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Dang.
That's pretty much what the experience, and it tasted like, tasted like death. And I tried to spit out most of it, but some of it would fall down my throat. And it was like, that was a bad experience. And of course, it hurt because imagine popping a pimple-like cyst on your tonsil.
Oh man.
Yeah.
Jesus.
It was gross, man.
And now your voice is stronger than ever.
Stronger than ever, girl.
Is the only music you have on like platforms that's listenable everywhere is the EP on Spotify?
Yes. We have the EP on Spotify and one single that we have released prior. We do have the band plans on releasing some more content soon, but of course not soon.
Because that's how it works.
We still gotta push this that we have now and promote what we have now, and work with what we have now. It's pretty great shit, dude. And we're excited for future endeavors, because prior to even recording this EP, we have like shit. I could show you how many songs we have written. Like, we have a shit ton of songs that we wrote while we were on that stoop of Mona Lisa's, you know what I mean? And this was only 5 of them. So yeah, we got a lot of shit coming.
Oh yeah, that's exciting.
Man, I can't wait for it. What happened great with you other than podcast in 2019, bro? What do you look back on and
Me?
really smile about?
Well,
Because I got some monumental things that happened. We moved in here in 2019.
yeah, I mean stuff like that, yeah. But I'm looking for like.
Yeah, because you got married 2018. Nothing will beat that.
That's true. Yeah, I would say, I don't know. Aside from the podcast, there's a lot. I don't know. Like, I don't really know how to answer that. I mean, skating. I've progressed in skating a lot, obviously, but like, it's not so much the podcast, but the, like you said earlier, the people we've met, the connections we've made. Like, walking in the Palace now, like, people are like looking at me like, "Yo, what's up, dude?" Like, cause they've seen me and they know me already from here and like previous encounters. So, I'd say that, like, that's what I'm most proud of, is like not exactly this, but the connections and the community we've like made.
I feel like we've been like opened up to this world of like
people
who like, there's so many creative people around here that are so motivated to do awesome things,
bro.
and like every one person you meet, you get they name drop like 4 more people, and then once you meet one of them, there's like this whole stem of like amazing people, whether you're a rapper or a writer or a poet or a photographer, videographer, or singer-songwriter or whatever. Like there's someone, like there's just so many
and
cool
if we
people.
all just stay strong, like stay building that connection and supporting each other, we're all gonna pop, dude, and like just succeed and like, you know, get where we want to get with everything.
Hashtag make your friends famous, bro.
Woo.
That's it.
Yeah, on that note, I was gonna we can like near the end we can plug whatever we need to plug, but I gotta plug Set Life.
Yeah,
for
bro.
real, because like that's where I get a lot of my research for the podcast, because they interview tons of people from around here. They put articles on their website. They have a zine every season and everything. And I read that, and it's a cool like breakdown of some of these people. Like they just released one on Rab, the comedian. And
Yeah,
it was
I
so
saw that.
informative. Like reading through that, I was just like, I literally messaged him and I'm like, we need to be friends. Because like I've met you, but I'm not like friends with you. But after reading this, I'm like, yo, I feel like we really hit it off. You know
I know
what I mean?
you mean, bro. I know what you mean.
Hell yeah, dude. Dude, we gotta have you back sometime too. I feel like we just scratched the surface.
Oh man. Yeah, it's true. I mean, I got a lot to talk about. But if we're doing plugs, I definitely gotta plug 2 people. Matt Stassi, who's doing our music video. He's an amazing videographer. Like, oh my gosh, amazing videographer. And definitely check out his shit. Like, he's done videos for a lot of artists here in the Southwest Florida scene, and his work is fucking beautiful, dude. I also want to give a shout out to House Immortal, Vic and Tyler, for recording our EP and for working with us amateur artists. And like, I appreciate it, bro. They're good peoples, man, and great fucking work. Like, I don't know if you heard the EP, but like,
yes,
great
I listen to it pretty
fucking
much every
work.
day.
Oh, thank you, man.
I really do. Like I say that to guests sometimes, and I like don't want to seem like I'm just like fucking like on coattails or whatever. But like I literally do, bro. Like, you know what I mean? Like just I don't know.
Dick riding is what
I wasn't gonna say.
I mean, I appreciate the dick riding, bro.
I wasn't gonna say it. Is there anything that you have coming up like in the near future, like early 2020, that like any shows you know of that are gonna be like big things that you want people to keep an eye out for or anything like that?
Check out the Wildlings Facebook page. Keep updated on our schedule. I mean, yeah, that's about it.
And then do you want to plug your social media at all? So that if you do start YouTube and post your first videos, they can be linked to that?
Yeah, check out my Instagram. It's c.topher.king. My Facebook, you can find me. My Facebook page is C Topher. My personal Facebook is Chris Topher. But you're better luck with the page, because Chris Topher is filled with 5,000 friends. I'm sorry, people. Can't be a friend anymore. But yeah, that's pretty much it. Check us out on Spotify. You can find us on iTunes. We're called The Wildlings. That is TheWildLDlings. We are not the Wildings. We're not the Wild Wings or the Yinglings. We are the Wildlings. I just had to say that very predominantly on the mic because so many people has called us something else. But anyway. And yeah, be on the lookout for Chris Topher original singles, because I do plan on, recording a few singles on my own.
Oh, yeah.
And yeah, just testing out the waters in the music industry. It's all new to me. I'm a baby in this shit, and like I'm a 2-year musician, going on 3, and it's fucking best thing I could have ever done in my. I don't know why I waited so long. Fuck sales. Sales sucks.
I'm proud of you, dude.
Thanks, man.
Hell yeah. And where can they find us at, bro?
They can find us at City of Palms Podcast. We're on everything except for Twitter. Still haven't gotten on Twitter. We're fucking out, dude.
Don't see a need to.
Yeah, it's all good.
I don't see a need to either. Twitter's like, it's Twitter.
Yeah, we don't really mess with Twitter. Yeah. So we got new episodes every Monday on all your streaming services. Still haven't announced really what we're doing with City of Palms side.
I was gonna say with 2020 right around the corner, there's a lot of things that me and Danny are going to
Lot
be
of things to be
releasing.
on the lookout
Some of them are already
for.
done. We just need to release them. And we want the YouTube channel to be more than just the podcast every Monday and whatnot. So we're going to have a lot on there. I don't really want to announce any like specific things yet, but this is the last episode of the year. Congratulations to everyone doing
Thanks
awesome
for having
things.
me, bud.
And
Yeah.
2020, I'm saying it. I've been saying this since we started this shit. I feel like everything's at like a boiling point. It's like that soft boil where you see the little bubbles.
Is happening in 2020.
In 2020,
It's
we're hitting the hard boil,
Yeah, bro.
That's
and the
facts.
bubbles are
I
gonna
feel
come
it.
up for whoever and whatever. I just feel like there's this mindset and this collaboration that's happening.
Dude,
in the
2020
community.
vision, bro. Perfect
2020 vision.
Mm-hmm.
I saw that written somewhere for the first time the other day. It said like the date of an event coming up, like interested on Facebook, and it said 2020, and it's the first time I saw it like as a date written, and I was just like, that's weird looking, but I like it. It's symmetrical.
Yeah, dude. It is weird.
But yeah, Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, you got us everywhere.
And then I want to shout out to the Soren Beats.
Yeah.
Our producer. He's a producer out in Germany. And he's killing it. He does all the beats for our podcast, and he's
And for other people around here, Trap and Jap.
yeah,
beats
yeah,
for him.
he's done
Supports
beats.
the 239.
Yeah, he's working with a lot of people around here. So his Instagram is Soren Beats. That's SOERN Beats. Easy enough.
All right,
Big shout out, Soren.
thank you for coming by today, bro. This has been
Thanks
so much
for
fun.
having me, man.
And like I said, we had so much like to talk about. We didn't even talk about like the professional aspect of things as much as we talked about this fun shit. So we'll have you back. 2020 is gonna be a big year. We're gonna be upgrading. Thank you all for listening, because we wouldn't even be here without you guys. So thank you so much. See you in 2020 for the next episode. Hit him with that outro, Soren.